Now speak about the combinations of capacitors. There are two combinations. One is series combination, another one parallel combination of capacitors. What is the need for studying the series and the parallel combination of capacitors? Suppose if you are constructing an electronic circuit or electrical circuit, you need certain value of capacitance of the capacitor, but it is not available. So we cannot drop the circuit. Instead, we can go for its equivalence. If one single capacitor of capacitance 10 microfarad is required, instead of using 10 microfarad capacitor, you can have two 5 microfarad capacitor which are connected in parallel, so that they behave as a 10 microfarad capacitor. In the same way, if you want to have a decrease in value of capacitance, then you have to go for a series combination of capacitors. This is quite simple to understand. How? If suppose 10 people are working to dig a pit, all through the day they are working. A JCB machine is used to dig the same pit of same dimension. Then we can say the JCB machine replaces the 10 persons. So a JCB machine is equivalent to, or the work done by the JCB machine is equivalent to the work performed by 10 persons. This is what we call equivalence. Instead of making the persons, 10 persons to do a job or to do a work, we are using a JCB machine to do the same amount of work. Sometimes, if we are not available with that JCB machine, then we have to go once again for manual work. We will call upon the persons to do the same work. So here, once again there is a replacement taking place. Instead of JCB machine, we are using persons. So one can be replaced by another. So a single capacitor can replace all the other number of capacitors, or all the other number of capacitors will replace a single capacitor if it is not available. So to carry out the construction of electronic circuits and electrical circuits, we need this series and parallel combination of capacitors. We shall see one by one. First, the capacitance of the capacitors connected in series. So I can write the capacitors in series. Once again, before going to the series combination of capacitors, I would like to speak about a simple thing. If three tanks are connected, in series, three tanks are connected in series. A tap is filling water, water is flowing inside. This is a basic lower class fundamental. A liquid seeks its own level. This is the idea what you have in hydrostatics in class 7 or 6. Water is filled in one tank. Let us say three tanks are there, A, B and C. If you look at the diagram itself, you can easily say that the volume of the containers are different. Volume of the containers are different. Dimensions are different. So the dimension of the containers represents capacitance. The dimensions of the containers represents capacitance. Now, if water is allowed to fill into one container, you may expect this container will get filled first and then this one and then this one. No, that won't happen. All the containers are filled with equal level of water. This is what you had in hydrostatics. Liquid seeks its own level. Liquid seeks its own level. So what is same here in this case? Level is same. Level is same. What is different in all the three containers? Volume of water is different. Volume of water is different. The level of water is same. but volume of water is different. So I can take the level of water is equivalent to that of charge, and the volume of water is equivalent to that of potential. So the dimension of the container is taken as capacitance, the level of the water is taken as charge, and the volume of the water is taken as potential. Since the volume of water stored in each container is different, potential is different in this case. Since the level of water in each container has the same level, then the charge is the same in all the three capacitors. Dimensions of the containers are different, so the capacitance of each container is different. This is the idea with which we are going to enter into capacitors in series. As I told you, water will not get filled in the capacitor first and then second and then third. No. The level of water will get equally filled. The same thing will happen when capacitors are connected in series and the entire arrangement is connected across a battery. Let us see here. I am just changing this. Once again, I would like to recall the dimensions of the container represents capacitance. Volume of the water in the container represents potential. The level of water in the container represents charge. Now, if three capacitors of capacitances C1, C2 and C3 are connected in series, one end of the plate is connected to the other end of the plate. We used to call this end-to-end connection. This is how the capacitors are connected. Three capacitors C1, C2, C3 are connected to a source of potential difference, let us say V. Potential difference, let us say V. The capacitors are connected in series. How? One plate is connected to the other plate of the second capacitor, then the second plate is connected to the first plate of the third capacitor, and so on. So this is an end-to-end connection. So a capacitors in series is otherwise called end-to-end connection. What will happen here? We can explain it very simply. The negatively charged electrons having charge minus Q will be stored on the right plate of the third capacitor C3. What charge is stored? Minus Q. Where it is stored? To the right plate. See, if two plates are there, this one is left plate, this one is right plate. So, negatively charged electrons are stored over the right plate of a capacitor C3. The left plate is induced with positive and negative charges due to electrostatic induction. Left plate is induced with positive and negative charges. The nearer surface of the plate is induced with the positive charge. Farther end will be induced with the negative charges. Those negative charges are repelled by or pushed by the negative charges on the right plate of the capacitor C3. So, I can draw equal number of positive and negative charges will be produced on the left plate of the capacitor C3. The negative charges on the left plate of the capacitor C3 are pushed by the negative charges on the right plate of the capacitor, so that minus Q charges are pushed to the capacitor plate C2, the right plate of the capacitor C2. So, what will happen? The positive charges are given over the surface, distributed over the surface of the plate of the left plate of the capacitor C3. So, one capacitor plate is loaded with the positive and negative charges. The pushed negative charges will stick to the right plate of the capacitor C2. These negative charges once again induce positive and negative charges. Negative charges on the left plate of the capacitor C2 will be pushed by the negative charges on the right plate of the capacitor C2. See the statement. Negative charges on the left plate of the capacitor C2 is pushed by, because negative charges will repel, like charges will repel. So this negative charges will push this negative charges from the left plate of the capacitor C2. So these negative charges will reach the right plate of the capacitor C1, leaving only positive charges over the left plate of the capacitor, over the left plate of the capacitor. Now, these negative charges once again induce positive and negative charges. Positive charges are left over the left plate of the capacitor C1, and negative charges are driven to the positive terminal of the battery, so that the number of negative charges given by the negative terminal of the battery is once again collected back by the positive terminal of the battery. So the flow of charges took place like this. Here I can say, if potential difference applied across the plates of a parallel plate capacitor is V, which see the statement I am mentioning here, it is the potential difference. I can say this is V plus and the potential on the plate minus is V minus. I can say if 12 volt the potential difference is applied, V plus minus of V minus, potential difference is 12 volt. Then I can say the total potential difference because of the storage of charges over the capacitors. See, you look at the diagram first. In all the three capacitors, we shall go on to this idea next. If you look at the diagram, all the capacitors are stored with equal number of charges. So I can say the charge on the capacitor 1 is Q1, on the capacitor is Q2, on the capacitor is Q3, and all the charges are equal. The charges on all the three capacitors are same. So in a series combination of capacitors, charge remains same. What about the potential? I can say the potential varies V1, V2, V3. How? As I have mentioned the capacitance values as C1, C2, C3, then I can say the capacitors have different capacities. So you just recall the earlier diagram what we had earlier. If the capacities are different, but the supply of water in all the three containers have the same level, which was represented as charge. So charge remains same. But the volume, here it is nothing but the work done. Work done is nothing but potential. So the potential difference between the plates of the parallel plate capacitor is different. Potential difference between the plates of the parallel plate capacitor is different. What is potential difference here? I can show you here. If I have to calculate potential difference, I can say this has a potential, let us say V plus 3, and I am taking the third capacitor. Then this is V minus 3. Then it is the amount of work done in moving a unit positive charge from one plate to another plate against the electrostatic force of repulsion. There will be an electric field. You have to move a unit positive charge from one plate to another plate, so there is a work done. If the field strength is more, then the amount of work done must be more. If the field strength is less, the amount of work done must be less. First thing. Second thing, distance of separation matters. Everything matters here. So the work done is stored as potential here. So the potential will not be the same because the dimensions of the capacitors are different. Since the dimensions of capacitors changes, the potential also changes here. So potential across the capacitors are V1, V2, V3 across C1, C2, C3. So the total potential difference, I can say here, the total potential difference across each capacitor is equal to the applied potential difference. I can show you like this. If this end of potential I am taking, as this positive end is connected to this plate, the left plate of capacitor C1, and negative terminal is connected to the right plate of the capacitor C3, I can take this as V plus, and then the potential on this plate is VA. Then there will be a difference of potential. V1 is nothing but potential difference. And then when two plates are connected by means of conducting wire, the same potentials do exist on the conductors. If this plate has a potential V, then this plate should also possess the same potential V because the two are connected by means of a conducting wire. If the plates are connected by means of a conducting wire, then the potentials of the plates must be the same. So, if VA is the potential of the right plate of C1, then VA is the potential on the left plate of C2. Then VB is the potential on the right plate of C2. VB is the potential on the right plate of C2. Then the same potential do exist on the left plate of C3. So, it is VB, and the negative terminal is connected to this right plate of capacitor C3. So, I can take it as V minus. So, total potential difference can be taken like this: V plus minus of VA plus VA minus of VB plus VB minus of V minus. This is equal to the total potential difference applied, V plus minus of V minus. So, if you look at this, they get cancels out. V plus minus of V minus comes out. This is equal to 12 volt. So, the total potential across all the three capacitors is equal to the potential applied. So, I can say easily here, the total potential is equal to the sum of the potential across the individual capacitors. Total potential is equal to the sum of the potential across the individual capacitors. V equals V1 plus V2 plus V3. As we know, Q equals CV and V equals Q divided by C. As the charge remains same, I can write V1 is equal to Q divided by C1, V2 equals Q divided by C2, and V3 equals Q divided by C3. Then this expression can be taken as 1. I can substitute all these values of V1, V2, V3 in expression 1. V equals Q divided by C1 plus Q divided by C2 plus V3 is Q divided by C3. If Q is taken out, you will have 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. This is equal to V. Now, this is taken as 2. If all the three capacitors are replaced by a single capacitor of effective capacitance, let us say CS, and is connected to the same voltage source, let us say V, then the total charge that is stored on the capacitor is said to be Q. Then I can take the expression as Q equals CS into V. Instead, V equals Q divided by CS. V equals Q divided by CS. So, if you substitute this V equals Q by CS, which is nothing but 3 in expression 2, we will have Q divided by CS equals Q into 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. 1 by C3. Q gets cancels out. 1 by CS equals 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 divided by C3. This is the effective capacitance of the capacitor connected in series combination. So, I can say here, the inverse or reciprocal of the effective capacitance of the capacitor connected in series is equal to the sum of the reciprocal of the capacitances of, or the inverse of the capacitances of the individual capacitors. How will you define a series combination of capacitors? The reciprocal or inverse. You can use these two terms. The inverse or reciprocal of the effective capacitance of the capacitor connected in series is equal to the sum of the inverse or reciprocal of the capacitances of the individual capacitors. Capacitances of the individual capacitors. Now, what will be the value of effective value of the capacitance of the capacitor when connected in series? If all the three capacitors are replaced by a single capacitor, what should be its value, or whether the value is lesser than the individual values or greater than the individual values? We can simply say here, the effective value of the capacitance of the capacitor connected in series is always less than the least value of the capacitance of the capacitor in series. Capacitance of the capacitor in series. For example, if I consider capacitors of capacitance value 1 microfarad, C2 equals 2 microfarad and C3 equals 3 microfarad, then the effective capacitance 1 by Cs equals 1 by 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3. When taking LCM, this is 6, this is 6 plus 3 plus 2, so 11 by 6. So on taking reciprocal, Cs equals 6 divided by 11 microfarad. As you know, numerator is less, denominator is more, so the effective value will be less than 1. The least value of the capacitance of the capacitor what we have is 1 microfarad. So effective value is less than 1 microfarad. That's how we can say the effective capacitance of the capacitor connected in series is always less than the least value of the capacitance of the capacitor in series. Now, if two capacitors are connected in series, then I can write 1 by Cs equals 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2. On simplifying, you will have Cs equals C1 C2 by C1 plus C2. This is a short formula to calculate the effective capacitance of the capacitor, two capacitors when connected in series. And then the potential ratio across each capacitor is 1 by C1 is to 1 by C2 is to 1 by C3. So we can say here the potential ratios are inversely proportional to capacitance ratios. When the capacitance of the capacitors increases, then the potentials will decrease. When the capacitance decreases, potential will increase. And then we can say here, if any of the capacitance is increased or decreased, the effective value will also be increased or decreased. Increased or decreased. In order to have a simple idea, if all the capacitors are we shall go on explaining this point with another example or another idea. So in this case, if any of the capacitor is increased or decreased, then the effective value of the capacitance will also be increased or decreased. And then now, if identical capacitors, if n identical capacitors are connected in series, then the effective capacitance Cs is equal to C divided by n. Effective capacitance Cs is equal to C divided by n. With this, we can explain this point. If 2 microfarad capacitor are connected in series, then the effective value will be for 2 microfarad capacitors, identical capacitors, the effective value will be Cs is equal to 2 divided by 3. 2 divided by 3. So 2 microfarad, 2 by 3 microfarad. If suppose 3 microfarad capacitors are connected in series. If 3 microfarad capacitors, here I told you, if 2 microfarad capacitors are connected in series, effective value will be Cs equals 2 by 3 microfarad. Use this formula. Cs is equal to, what is the value of C? 2 microfarad. What is the value of n? Number of capacitors is 3. So 2 divided by 3, 2 by 3 microfarad. If I have 3 microfarad capacitors, what is the effective value here? Cs is equal to 3 by 3, which is 1 microfarad. So what happens here? 2 by 3 is less than 1. Now it is 1. So as the value of the capacitance of the capacitors increases, the effective value also increases. So this point can be explained here. So in a series combination of capacitors, I can say the charge remains same. Q is same. Potential V is different. And the total potential is equal to the sum of the potentials across the individual capacitors. With that idea, we are bringing out the expression for the effective capacitance of the capacitor connected in series, 1 by Cs equals 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. If there are n number of such capacitors, then you have to write 1 by Cs equals 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. If there are, means n number of capacitors are there, for that also I can give you the expression. For n number of capacitors, I can write it here. For n number of capacitors, I can write 1 by Cs is equal to sum over I equals 1 to n. It is 1 by Ci. 1 divided by Ci. So, it is 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3 up to 1 by Cn. 1 divided by C suffix n. This is the expression for n number of capacitors connected in series. This is all about a series combination of capacitors. Now we shall speak about the capacitors in parallel. Capacitors in parallel, when the corresponding plates of three capacitors, let us say C1, C2, C3 be the three capacitors which are going to be connected in parallel. If the corresponding sides are connected to one end of the battery or one terminal of the battery, and the other corresponding sides are connected to the other side, other terminal of the battery, let us say plus and minus. See, left side of the plates are connected to positive terminal, right side of the plates are connected to negative terminal, then this combination of capacitors is said to be a parallel combination of capacitors. This can be compared with the same tank circuit which are connected in parallel. There are three different pipelines which are placed over three different capacitors. The quantity of water given by the or delivered by the taps has the same value, so they get filled in the containers. They get filled in the containers. If you just look at the case here, the level will be different because this container is of a smaller dimension, this is of large dimension, and this one is of medium dimension. See, the level of water is different. Quantity of water is same, allowed to fill the containers is same, but the level of water is different, so Q is different. But the volume of water is same because same amount of water has been filled in all the three containers, so volume is same, so potential is same. Here level is different, so charge is different. Here the dimensions of the containers are different, so capacitances are different. So what is different in all these three cases? Charge. Potential remains same. So the total charge on all the three capacitors can be taken as the sum of the individual charges. Sum of the individual charges. Q equals Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3. According to law of conservation of charge, total charge given or delivered by the battery is equal to the sum of the charges on individual capacitors. From the expression Q equals CV, I can write Q1 equals C1 into V, Q2 equals C2 into V, and Q3 equals C3 into V. So the total charge Q is equal to C1V plus C2V plus C3V. If V is taken out, I will have C1 plus C2 plus C3. Now, if all the three capacitors are replaced by a single capacitor of capacitance, let us say CP, then it is connected across the same potential source. Then the total charge here is said to be Q. Then I can write Q is equal to Cp into V. Now, if I consider this as equation 1 and this as 2, substituting 2 in 1, I will have Cp into V is equal to V into C1 plus C2 plus C3. V cancels out. Cp equals C1 plus C2 plus C3. So, we shall say the effective capacitance of the capacitors connected in parallel is equal to the sum of the capacitances of the individual capacitors. What I did is, in a parallel connection, the potentials are same because the corresponding plates of the capacitors are connected to positive terminal and the corresponding plates are connected to the negative terminal. So, they are maintained at the same potential. The ends are maintained at the same potential. So, the plates are one side of the plates are at one potential, another side of the plates are at the other potential. Difference of potential across all the three capacitors has the same value, but the charges are different. Q equals Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3. So according to conservation of charge, total charge is equal to the sum of the charge on the individual capacitors. On substituting the values of charges and simplifying, I am getting this expression. If total charge is equal to total capacitance, effective capacitance into total potential V, then I can say CPV equals V into C1 plus C2 plus C3. So CP equals C1 plus C2 plus C3. The effective capacitance of the capacitor connected in parallel is equal to the sum of the capacitances of the individual capacitors. And what will happen if you calculate the effective value of capacitance? Cp is always greater than the greatest value of the capacitors in parallel. So if I say three capacitors are of magnitude 1, 2, 3, effective capacitance is 1 plus 2 plus 3, I will get 6 microfarad. 6 microfarad. So the effective capacitance is greater than the greatest. Greatest is 3, effective is 6. So effective capacitance is greater than the greatest value of the capacitors connected in parallel. And then if n identical capacitors are in parallel, then Cp equals Nc. Cp equals Nc. If two capacitors are in parallel, we can write Cp equals C1 plus C2. If n capacitors, identical capacitors are in parallel, Cp equals Nc. So here we can say here the charge and capacitance are directly proportional. Charge and capacitances are directly proportional. Charge ratio Q1, I can write Q1 is to Q2 is to Q3 is equal to C1 is to C2 is to C3. So charges on each capacitor is equal to the capacitance of the individual capacitors. Q1 corresponds to C1, Q2 corresponds to C2, and Q3 corresponds to C3, right? If n identical capacitors are connected in parallel, Cp equals Nc. Now we can write this expression or the ratio of series to parallel combination of capacitors. As we saw earlier, Cs is equal to C divided by N with n identical capacitors, and Cp equals Nc. So Cs to Cp ratio is C by N divided by Nc. C gets cancels out, 1 divided by N square. So Cp divided by Cs will be the reciprocal of it, N square is to 1. So this kind of questions will be there always. These are all simple fundamentals, but they are effective. So Cs by Cp equals 1 by N square, Cp by Cs is equal to N square divided by 1. This is all about a parallel combination of capacitors. So series and parallel combination of capacitors are required to simplify the circuit diagrams or to bring out equivalent values of capacitances in constructing the circuit diagrams. We shall speak about the other ideas later. Thank you.